Hi, this is BJ Smothers, and I'm here at the FGS in Knoxville, Tennessee. And I'm at the booth of Janice Jenkins. She's the author of a book called Because of Your Hands, and I want her to tell us about her book here today and why she's here at FGS. Janice, would you introduce yourself?
My name is Janice Jenkins. I'm from Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay.
I'm the author of this book, Because of Your Hands.
Hey, tell us about the book.
Yes, this book started with a poem that I wrote. The poem has the same title, Because of Your Hands. I read this poem publicly for the first time last year at a family event. I had a slideshow that went along with the poem that I showed as I read the poem. At the end of the event, I had family members to come to me and tell me that they thought I should write a book. So I went home the next day and I started writing immediately, explaining why I wrote the book. What I did, I took the poem, Because of Your Hands, and I went line by line explaining exactly what I meant when I said what I said on each line. And when I finished breaking down every line of the poem, I ended up with 130 pages. I did a lot of research with this book. I went to the courthouse because this book is about my dad, how hard he had to work. When he was 4 years old, he had his first job, which was picking cotton. He continued to work throughout his life until he was almost 80 years old. And I just want to know, where did he get his work ethic? So I went to the courthouse and I wanted to know more about my great-grandparents. I was able to connect with family members whom I had never heard of before. My research took me back to the grounds of my great-grandfather's old homestead, which included a house that he lived in and raised his children in, and a church next door. Both of the buildings are still standing today. He also was a businessman. He had a store in the backyard of the house. I went to the grounds, and it was a spiritual event for me, just to know that I was walking on the grounds of my ancestors. Now, I had visited there before because I had a great aunt that lived in the house until she became very elderly and could no longer take care of the house herself. Not only did I go to his old homestead, but just yards away is a cemetery where I'm sure he spent many days and hours there, with burials and funerals that he probably conducted when he was alive and was working as a minister at the church next door. It was a spiritual event for me because, just going to the graveyard, knowing that he's there and resting in peace. The cemetery and the house are located right next to the river. You can almost stand in the yard of the cemetery and the house and throw a stone in the river. And as I was saying, I did my research and I was able to connect with relatives that I had never heard of. I was able to meet relatives that I had never heard of before, just from writing this poem and reading it at a family event. And this has been a great spiritual journey for me.
Can you tell us how we can get copies of the book?
You can get a copy of this book directly from me. My address is Post Office Box 50121, Columbia, South Carolina 29250. And it is also available on Amazon.com.
Okay. Well, it's been great talking to you, Janice.
Great talking
Thank
to
you.
you too.
Bye.
Thank you.